Greetings. Today, we're going to talk about D20 Modern, which is a D20 system that is pretty much reminiscent of normal Dungeons and Dragons, which uses the same set of dice, so a full set: D20, D10, D100, D8, D12, D64, and it is one of the few modern settings. It's relatively difficult to find a modern setting that is just strictly modern and not like modern fantasy or modern horror. So that's good. It's pretty straightforward. If you've played D&D, you can play D20 Modern. It's not a big deal. It even has different supplements in the case that you want to expand it. Like it has Urban Arcana, which adds magic. It has D20 Future, which is in the far future in space. It has D20 Past, which is like the turn of the century or Victorian age. It has D20 it's got one that is I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's sort of X-Files sort of game, so aliens and things like that. So it's got a lot of expansions that you can use to put into it. It's relatively solid. There are some things that are strange about it, like it doesn't necessarily have a money system. It has a you get a bonus to your wealth, and you roll a d20 plus your wealth bonus to see if you can afford something at the time. And if you pass, you can buy it, and if you fail, you just can't afford it right then. And it makes it seem a lot more like real life, where you're like actually working on a budget. So you might not be able to buy something that's particularly expensive this month, but you can try again later. So it has much more of a, like, instead of the GM handing out massive stacks of gold, they hand out little bits of wealth bonus, like +1 here, +2 there, dependent on jobs and what you do and how you work through things. So it works out relatively well. There's nothing too special about it. I like running into it sometimes because it just has a lot of things that you can play with. The pros are that it's relatively easy. If you've played normal D&D, it's just like that. It has a different kind of character building system, which is based on your highest stat as opposed to like fighter, cleric sort of thing. The archetypes are in there. That each stat is relative to one kind of what you would say normal D&D class, but it doesn't have a it's like fighter is the strong hero, but a strong hero is not necessarily a fighter. So there's that. Basically, the way that you play is you start out as like one of the 6 attributes: strong, tough, fast, smart, dedicated, charismatic. And then you build up to an advanced class, which is like a soldier or a combat martial artist or a doctor or something of that nature. And there are prestige classes which go beyond the normal advanced classes, but that's not usually, they're not particularly, there's not a lot of them, so you'd have to really decide that you want to do something before you want to go that route. Cons, it is rules heavy like D&D. It does have the strange money system, which can make people kind of upset that they can't afford, that they don't have a straight number that they can just buy things with. Other than that, I think another major con is that sometimes it's a little bit difficult to come up with a sort of modern storyline. Try to bring people together to kind of figure out a mystery or things like that. But we have like police and the FBI and things like that in the real world that sort of take care of those things. So you have to find a way to get to work either with those people or around those people. And it can become kind of weird to come up with a story that can sort of mesh really well. All in all, I like it. It's solid. It has a lot of expansion, so it can get a little expensive if you want to have all of them. But it works really well, and if you're into sort of modern style games, you should totally check it out.